Laurie. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So nice to reconnect with you.
Likewise, I was so pumped for this. I was like, yes, I get to find out what's going on. So catch me up to speed.
I originally submitted this question a couple of weeks ago when there was a request for people to submit questions in regards to where they are in their business and where they're looking for help,
Yeah.
because I was looking at the metrics in my business and I could see that where I was hiring the nurse to help me with the sales calls, then it was significantly affecting revenue from a front-facing perspective. And I was having difficulty making the decision as to whether I push through and keep on training her and, adjust the sales script and keep on trying to adjust where I was going. And I did make adjustments, but ultimately I made the decision to let her go. And I'm back to doing the sales calls myself now.
Um, okay. That I'm not surprised by that. Yeah. So is that what you want to talk about?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about team members. So I wanted to talk about hiring and firing and looking for help inside your team, because essentially where I'm at is that I'm now 15 months into the business and I grew from 1 to 6 very quickly. Along the way, then I have asked 3 people to leave. One person early on because I didn't feel that their intentions were right for the business.
Yep.
I asked my nurse to leave because the metrics showed that she was essentially 6 months into the role, had not made even one sale. And what I felt was that no matter how much training that we did or supervision that we did, there was something that was blocking that.
Yes.
And what I realized at the end of it was that she was a really excellent clinician, but no, sales was not her forte.
Yeah.
And when I finally had a really good heart-to-heart with her, she also said that she had her own money mindset issues in that she has trouble charging for things for herself. So I don't think that that was actually the right thing for me to, like, the right person for me to hire in the beginning. And perhaps someone who was more of a salesperson would have been better.
Yes.
Although now that I think about it, it did significantly affect the revenue of the business, pushing through training her for a good 6 months. And now I'm wondering whether I actually don't try to find a replacement for her, but I try and improve the sales process, like try to improve the show rate for the people who book appointments, try and improve all of the admin along the way, and keep myself doing the sales calls, given that the conversions are so high.
Okay, so before I say anything, let's actually, if you're okay to do this, let's go through the metrics. I'm going to write some things down. Okay, what is...
I'll just open up my spreadsheet then.
Open up your spreadsheet. Okay, what is your... annual, you know what? I'm going to open up mine too, and I'm just going to plug it on in. Money map. I am just going to plug it in. Okay. So what is your annual revenue goal for 2024?
I think it is to get to 200K. I actually decided that I'm not going to scale this business.
Oh, okay. Let's just pretend it's 250 because that's already what my
okay
is at, just so that it's just easier that way.
Yes.
Okay. Do you happen to know sort of what your expenses are?
No.
Okay.
I don't look at those metrics. I've been looking at other metrics.
Okay. So so with a sales team or with one salesperson, typically a traditional salesperson, can you hear me? Okay, my mic's not right in front of my mouth.
Yeah.
Okay. Traditionally a salesperson is paid commission. Yeah. So they would be paid straight commission, typically about 10% off of the revenue of the sale.
Yep.
So what is the cost of your program?
It's currently 3 installments of $9.97, or the full price, which is $2,691 and 90 cents.
2,691 and 90 cents. Okay, so that's basically what they'll be getting, right? The commission.
Yeah.
So 2,691. Okay, so they're going to basically be getting $270 commission for every sale, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. And about how many sales do you make a month?
Well, this month I've made 5 sales already.
This month. Oh, I was like, oh, all right. Okay. Approximately how many sales? You want to do 250? Okay, let's actually just do that math. 250 divided by 2,691 equals 2 divided by.
I don't do it as a pure number. In my mind, I aim for 5 new clients a month because I have 70% of people re-enrolling as a graduate. So I figured out that I just need to enroll 5 new clients a month by having a look at my monthly revenue.
So that's all the salesperson would get the commission off of, right? Is 5 sales a month? Okay.
Yeah.
So 270 times 5. 1,350. Okay. So you would basically only really, because your close rate's really high, right? Yep. So you'd probably have to take 15 calls a month and make 5 sales?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, if you're okay to do that, I would stick with that, to be honest, because to find someone who is great, who can convert, they're going to want to earn more than $1,300 a month. Like you won't be able to get the availability from them, right? Like you won't be able to get 15 to 20 hours of space available on their calendar so that they can take the number of calls to make the 5 sales. Like it's just, right? So then you're left hiring someone who doesn't really have experience, and then they only close 2 or 3 sales, and then you're pissed and annoyed.
Yeah, and then I have to actually spend more money in my ad spend to get like 45 calls booked.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then yes, based on those metrics alone, and based on the fact that you don't want to scale this beyond 250K rev a year, then yeah, if you're okay to do that, then that's how I would move forward, because it's easy for you. You don't have to train. You just factor, 5 hours a week into your 5 hours of calls into your week, right? You can split it up over 2 days, right? Or 3 hours here and 3 hours there. And you can just do it that way.
Question for you. What are some of the ways that you are able to improve the show rate to your calls? Because that will also help me. If I only have a certain number of hours that I can dedicate to the calls, it would be good if I can utilize the help of my VA, either through, like, I already have the automated email reminders, but my idea is to turn on the SMS reminders and use use a VA to help me with that, to do last minute confirmations, etc., to make sure that they're going to show.
What is your show rate now?
Well, as an example, last month, then I had 15 people book and 9 people show.
I just want to see what percentage that is. Hold on. You're at 60%. So you have room. Like ours is about 80% show.
Okay.
So right at 15 calls at 80%, that's 12 people.
Yes.
Right. So if you got yours to 80% and you convert at 50%, which probably you do, right? Then there's your 5 or 6 clients.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. So one of the things that we do is we actually do it manually, and we confirm every call. So basically, and it's manual, it's not automated. So basically it's a text message that goes out when the call is booked. And we say, hey, we are so glad you just booked a call. Please make sure that you watch the homework. And we give them a link in the text message to our homework page, which is like a prep video. We can go through what you can include after. You might already even have that. I'm not sure.
Yes, I have that.
Yeah.
So currently it's all through email. Yeah.
Okay. So
But
then
I think that the text message is more important because they're booking it for a call, which goes to their phone. So I feel
exactly.
like if it's to their phone, then these confirmations should be going to their phone and then they can watch the replay straight away on their phone.
Yes, exactly. So you give them the link in the text message and you just say, just, when you get a sec, please reply to the text and just let me know you got this. Okay. And it's a real person, right? So it's like a manual person doing it. And then the day before the call, same thing, manual. Hey, it's so and so from name of business, and just confirming your call with Dr. Angela tomorrow. If you're unable to make it for any reason, please just let me, or just please like reply and confirm. And then same thing in, 10 minutes before the call, another text message, hey, it's Dr. Angela's assistant again. She's super excited to chat with you. She's just, preparing, reviewing your notes from your intake form, and she'll be calling you in about 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
Please make sure that you're available and by your phone and in like a quiet space. And if for whatever reason you're not able to make it, just reply back to just let me know. Right. So it sounds like very conversational, like a real person, and it's call confirmation. So we do that manually. And we use the person's name so that like it's very like it's personal, right? And it's not like an automated text.
Do you ever get people taking advantage of that personal touch and afterwards using it to try and get free advice?
So the workaround, yes, of course. So the workaround for that is this is not our best method. Text message is not our best method to be able to support you in this way. We're happy to answer any questions you have. Please email support at blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And that's, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I can definitely create a workflow for my team to do that.
Yeah. And that's honestly like we confirm calls, I would say 3 to 4 times via text message before the call actually happens.
Mm. That's a lot of manual work actually for the volume of calls that you would be doing compared to my 15 calls per month.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
It would be a lot of staff members working on that.
It's just shifts. Like it's just a shift. Like it's just that's somebody's job, right? To confirm the calls. And I mean, it's worth it because, we have I think it's like 82% or something. Like we have an 82% show rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's part of like their daily job tasks.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to start to be really protective of my time right now because I'm getting ready to run 2 businesses. So if I only have like a good 5 hours a week in which I can dedicate to doing calls, then I have to maximize the number of calls that actually show up and convert within those 5 hours. I can't just find extra time during the week.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the 2 businesses are this business and the supplements?
Yes. Yes, we're looking to launch the first product in April, which will be a collagen powder. And I'm in the process of getting a developer to help me build out my Shopify store and do all of the integrations behind the scenes. And the shakes was actually a lot of work to be able to find a manufacturer over here, but it looks like it's going ahead and should be launching in July, which is fantastic. But yeah, I didn't realize just how long that the journey would take. Like when I spoke to you earlier and when I spoke to a few other people who are actually in the field and they say it's going to take at least 6 months. I was like, no, it's not. I'm sure that I can get this done in like a month or 2. It's not, especially when you are custom formulating and making something from scratch. There are so many regulations that you have to jump through. And now I realize that it's not just about creating the product. It's actually about running a business. So it's going to be about having 2 Facebook pages, 2 Instagrams, 2 communities to nurture.
Customer service. Yep.
Yes. There's actually going to be like, I'm going to be running 2 businesses and having to be quite protective of my time running the services and running the product side of the business.
Yes. And it's so interesting because when people, it's easy to have ideas, right? People are like, yeah, I want to have 2 signature programs, or I want to run multiple offers, or I want to sell products, or I want to do this. And I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't do that. Like that's why I'm like, can you just, right? It's because it is, especially when, I mean, you can have, you're small enough now that you can have one support team, right?
Yes.
Or you can have one support team, but as you scale the product side, it's live chat support, right? Like that's becoming very common, right? Where it's either through WhatsApp or it's through like a live chat on the page, right? That needs to be staffed. Like you're probably only selling within Australia because I don't know, right?
Initially,
so that's
yes.
easier at the beginning, for sure. But yeah, like selling products it's not simple. It's not simple and it's not easy. Yeah.
And when we had these conversations earlier on about my visions to grow the services and to hire doctors and to grow the business and to have like more structure to the business, I actually wanted to grow and scale the business. And that's the reason why I hired the additional team members. So I hired the nurse to replace my role in doing the calls. I hired an OBM to help me do all of those operational type roles and to help me to manage the team. But it didn't work out. And I asked her to finish up her role a couple of weeks ago. But what I've actually learned along the way is that, first of all, some things you can't actually outsource too early, particularly the higher level roles. And especially if you're still doing some of the simple tasks as well. So I think that I have to max out the simple tasks that I'm doing before I actually hire people for the more unicorn jobs. So I don't think that I would actually hire another person for the sales role or actually hire another doctor, because it just takes so much training. And I think it would affect the quality of the sale and also the quality of the program.
Yes.
So I realized that the program is actually not that scalable, and it's better to keep it high quality, high ticket, and unique for now, while I establish the products-based business. But the products-based business, the products can speak for themselves. And once that's up and running, that one is more scalable than the services-based business.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, I wholeheartedly agree with you that hiring higher level critical thinking roles is very difficult. It's very, very difficult. And even when people have, for example, OBM, like online business management experience on their resume, and they come from, unless they have, our businesses are so, I don't want to say our businesses are unique, but because they're not, there's so many that like I could step in and run your business. You know what I mean? Like, because I've done it. Right? But you can't take someone who's just run a funnel, or, like they have to have run a high ticket coaching online business.
Yes.
Right? And most people really haven't. They really, like, they say they have, but they haven't. Right?
Yes.
So I've also tried to hire for that role too. And it has been, frankly, impossible to find someone, and like not for a small salary either. Like we have the budget, like we could pay, 6 figures or whatever. And I've hired probably 3 to 4 people who on paper have the experience, and then they come in and I'm like, you don't know what you're doing at all. Like they can't think of all the moving pieces of a marketing campaign from conception to back end program delivery.
Yes.
Right. And so that is an extremely valuable skill set, like wild. So I just want to validate that for you, that those types of positions, we just stopped, and I just do it, and Laura just does it. And like, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what I've also learned along the way is that you hire people for very, very specific things and you don't
Yes.
make the resume too broad. Because
Right.
when I wrote the resume for the OBM, I did originally have you'll do this and you'll cover that and you'll do this and you'll do that. But I've realized now that when I'm looking for someone, I actually hire them for the specific skill that I'm trying to fill. And then if they have bonus skills, then I see that as a bonus, but I don't actually try and fill all of the vacancies that I have at one time. So,
Yes.
so many things that I've learned along the process.
It's such an interesting, like, okay. So, like, there's the startup, right, where you're overwhelmed and you can't wait to get to the place of like hiring people.
Yes.
And then you get to the place of hiring people and like, that's just like a whole nother skill set, right? It's a whole nother skill set. And also hiring, it's interesting because what you don't realize is you're having to do your own job. You're also having to do the job of the person that you're hiring for, and you're having to train them on top of having to do the job until they're trained to do the job. So for future, 6 months is too long. Like,
yes,
after 90 days, if they're not hitting the sort of key results of that position and you feel like you've set them up for success, they need to go. Like, 6 months is way too long.
Yeah.
We do everything now on a 90-day trial. Everything. Like, okay, you're going to come in, like employee, contractor. Okay, this is your 90-day trial period. Very clear. Here are the key results that we're looking for. You know, specific skill sets in terms of like what to click, unless you're obviously hiring them for like a tech role.
Yes.
But, you know, specific skill sets, we don't worry about that because that can be taught. It's more like, how do they ask questions? Like, do they get the job done? Like, can you tell that they can critically think, right?
Yes.
Like, are they asking questions to better understand, or are they just, you know, it always makes me so nervous when we're training people and they don't have questions. I'm like, you're not, like, if you don't have questions, you're not thinking. Like, you should have a million questions. Like, well, how come this happens? And what if this happens? Like, it shows that you're getting it by asking questions. When you don't ask questions, I know you're not getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, hiring is a whole nother beast that is difficult. Like, and to your point, like, it makes you almost not want to scale.
Yeah, it makes you actually somewhat contract in terms of your team. So yeah, if we had met up and it was just 1 month ago, then I would say, hey, Laurie, I'm a team of 6. And then 1 month later, I've contracted to a team of 4 because I've realized that 2 of the team members were not quite right for my stage of business. And I'm actually better off doing some of those roles myself and finding some back end staff to do some of the specific roles as well.
Yes. So yes, absolutely. Like, when I was at that stage, I would hire for all of the little jobs, right? Like, all of the little jobs, and I would have somebody to help me with tech. And then honestly, the rest I did it. Like, we didn't hire for high level roles until like 3 years ago. And we were doing like multiple 7 figures at that point.
Yeah.
And we don't really have people in like those types of, like, we have directors, but they direct an existing department. They're not necessarily like strategically creating things.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep, I know what you mean. Yeah. So right now, it is not the best use of my time to learn how to build a Shopify store and do all the integrations. It's best to outsource that job to my tech person. I can hire a person specifically for that, which I'm in the process of doing. And in order to improve the show rate of the calls, I'm going to set up SMS reminders and also hand that over to my VA. I might actually need a second VA because I feel like there's a lot more admin things that I can hand over at this point, and that'll free me up to do more clinical work and sales work, which is that is actually what gives my company its success. So me being at the front line, doing the calls, doing the sales, and then me practicing the medicine and getting the good reviews. So I think that is where my time is best spent.
Yep. That's great. And you know what? You'll see too that you'll bring in, a couple of VAs who can optimize everything else, right? And you can stay at this revenue for a year or two, right? That gives you time that can also fund the startup of the supplements, and it funds the lead gen of the supplements, right? And then you can make a decision, right? You can say, you know what, I'll like stretch to 500, I'll stretch to $1 million, right? How you can do that. But I think it's a really smart decision, especially while you're trying to launch this other business. Like I would like, it's very difficult to scale one business while you're trying to launch another. Like I would never do that.
Yes.
Like that's not a fun time.
Yeah. I think just aiming for stability, maintaining happy customers, and just aiming for a stable income in order to be able to support the new business is the goal for this year. And then perhaps next year, the goal is to actually replace my role as the doctor, but I would still be doing the sales in the services-based business because I need to have the revenue in order to support both. So the first role to replace me would actually be the doctor.
Yeah. Love that. That's
great.
Amazing.
Thank you for your advice.
You're welcome. Well, good luck. And let us know in the alumni group when your product launches. Send a screenshot. I'd love to see the branding of it.
I will. I would definitely. I'm actually planning to send you a care package all the way over to Canada.
Oh my gosh. And I love collagen, so I will happily take it. Amazing. Thank you. It was so good to chat with you.
You too. Bye, Laurie.
Bye.